It is true that Raila Odinga is the undisputed Luo kingpin. If anybody tells you otherwise, that person is lying to you. If you want to know just how influential Raila Odinga is among Luos, picture this. He says that he doesn't recognize William Ruto. William Ruto goes to Luo Nyanza. All the elected leaders skip and ignore him, even though he's the president of the republic. Then Raila Odinga says, okay, next time when he comes, welcome the president. And the entire leadership is there. People are running over each other, trying to welcome William Ruto, and even making him a Luo elder. Then Raila Odinga changes his mind again, and he says now he has some evidence that shows that Ruto stole his victory. And the same people who made William Ruto a Luo elder now do not recognize him again. I am just telling you how influential politically Raila Odinga is, especially when it comes to Luo Nyanza. His political direction is taken as the only direction. I am not suggesting that Raila Odinga enjoys absolute support of Luos. No, he doesn't. But we always do analysis with what the significant majority is saying or is doing. And I can tell you, most Luos are loyal to Raila Odinga to the point that they are willing to die for him. A feat that no politician has achieved. If that does not prove to you that Raila Odinga is the Luo kingpin, I don't know what will. But let me just paint a picture for you here. When Raila Odinga didn't recognize William Ruto, his supporters, especially from Luo Nyanza, were chanting Ruto must go. When he said he is now willing to work with William Ruto, the same supporters are now saying Kumi bila break. That tells you that when it comes to Luo Nyanza, Raila Odinga is that influential. I was just telling you that anybody who is telling you that Raila Odinga is no longer influential in Luo Nyanza is lying to you. There is what is ideal and there is what is real. In the ideal world, maybe Luos are supposed to be independent and decide and chart their own political future. But in reality, Raila Odinga, as of now, still dictates which direction, politically speaking, Luos are going to take. Now, with that out of the way, we asked ourselves a simple question today. Having observed Raila all along, over the years, are there some things that he has been doing that perhaps has earned him opposition that he has changed? Are we looking at a reformed Raila Odinga, ladies and gentlemen? That is what we are going to look at in this brief video. If it is a topic that interests you, I urge you to continue watching. And if you are finding value in this video already, drop a like and don't forget to subscribe. Now, there are three things that opponents of Raila Odinga have always accused him of. We used to accuse Raila Odinga of three crimes. In terms of his brand of politics, we didn't see Raila Odinga putting the safety of his supporters ahead of his interest. And two, we never saw Raila Odinga bargaining for his people. What we saw was Raila Odinga bargaining with his people. And of course, number three, we never saw Raila Odinga allowing democracy to thrive in his party. Whether it is LDP, whether it is NDP, whether it is ODM, we never saw Raila Odinga allowing dissenting voices. But it appears things have changed. Because for the first time, ladies and gentlemen, Raila Odinga had an opportunity to put his supporters in grave danger. And this time round, it would have really benefited him the most. I am referring to a time when the Kikuyu masses, calling themselves Gen Zs, had rebelled with William Ruto and wanted to overthrow him so that Rigathi takes over. That time, ladies and gentlemen, with the Kikuyus. If Luos joined, supporters of Raila joined that demo, Kenya would have been very, very ungovernable. Now, I don't believe that they would have overthrown William Ruto through anarchy. It's difficult to overthrow a president unless you have the military to support you. But I digress. What I was saying is there was an opportunity for Raila Odinga to misuse his people as usual for his own benefit, put them in danger as usual for his own benefit. And he didn't. Yes, I'm referring to June 2024. Raila Odinga could have told his supporters to join, regard his supporters in trying to overthrow Ruto. It would have been very chaotic, especially in Nairobi. But he didn't. He didn't just sit there and said, my supporters, you have your own decision. You can join if you want. No. He said, I prefer dialogue. For the first time in the recent history, Raila Odinga was choosing dialogue when what was expected of him ordinarily would have been to take advantage of the chaos and make Ruto's life miserable. Raila Odinga chose, ladies and gentlemen, to put the safety of his supporters ahead of his own interest. It earned him criticism. It earned him names like betrayer, conman. He was trolled even when he vied for AUC. People wrote to other countries to paint Raila as the worst human being. But he chose to put the interest of his supporters, especially the Luos, ahead of his own. Ladies and gentlemen, in my opinion, humbled by the way, that is transformation. Because I won't lie to you, that is not what I expected from Raila Odinga. I knew that Raila Odinga was going to take advantage of the riots and encourage his people to become even more unruly. He did the opposite. Perhaps that is a case of Raila having a better deal and seeing no reason to be on the street. In fact, that is how some people argued, that Raila Odinga was given a better deal and he saw no need to be on the street. He was bought, as people put it. So let's say, in that case, perhaps he was getting a better deal. What about the second thing we accuse Raila of? We always argue that Raila Odinga has never bargained for his people. He bargains with his people. He goes to the table, makes his own demands, and nothing for Luos and his supporters. But that is not what happened this time. This time, Ruto is being accused and Raila Odinga is being accused of diverting development to Luo Nyanza. There is visible change in Luo Nyanza, especially the counties of Migori, the counties of Homa Bay, Kisumu, and Siaya. There is significant change. Now, I don't want you to misunderstand this. It is not as if Luo Nyanza is now getting more than they deserve. That what is meant for another region is now being taken to Luo Nyanza. No. What Luo Nyanza deserves is now being given to them. And this is as a result of Raila Odinga bargaining for his people for the first time. He says, I want it. And he has even said this publicly. Whenever he is in Luo Nyanza, he has said, let us get the development that we deserve. I am also insisting at the top there that we get this, we get this, we get this. And so roads are being done in Luo Nyanza. Supporters of Raila Odinga, I can tell you, are now enjoying the benefits of supporting Raila Odinga. And that is something that we have always demanded for, that Raila Odinga should at least honor those who have stood with him by bargaining for them. And ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you that if you went to Luo Nyanza, you went to Coast, the people who have always stood with Raila Odinga, you went to Western, you will find that he has bargained for them. The things that are being done in that area or in those regions reflect people who are benefiting because their leader is at the table of decisions. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a Raila Odinga that we didn't know. It could only mean that the old man has transformed. Now, we go to another thing. Raila Odinga is not known to allow divergent views in his party. No, he is not known to allow divergent views in his party. You can check the history. Any person with divergent views in ODM or other party that Raila controls has always found it very rough. Some of them are even manhandled out of office. You will be expelled from the party. You will be beaten in some cases. But for the first time, we saw Raila Odinga saying that the D in ODM stands for democracy. Even though he differs with the likes of Babu Owino, with the likes of Edwin Sifuna, ODM is yet to even de-whip Babu Owino and Edwin Sifuna. Is yet to even do that. The likes of Caleb Amisi, the likes of Babu Owino, the likes of Edwin Sifuna, these are people who belong to ODM. And they have differed with the party position. They are arguing that Ruto has to be removed from power. Raila Odinga has given his position, and the ODM party, through its organs, has given position that they are standing with William Ruto. Yet, these people are not even de-whipped from their positions in parliament. You still have them there. There are no people stoning Babu Owino. He's not being heckled anywhere. Sifuna can still go and speak anywhere, even in Senate. He's still holding his position. He's not been de-whipped. And Raila Odinga said that we must reach a level where we allow people to speak their minds, even if you disagree with them. Even recently, when he was at the PG, he reiterated the famous quote that I will defend your right to speak your mind even if I disagree with you. And so that is a Raila Odinga that I didn't know. Ladies and gentlemen, maybe something else is cooking, but I can tell you that based on my understanding of Raila Odinga, I have not seen him transforming this much. Raila Odinga, who puts the interest, the safety of his supporters ahead of his, who tell them plainly not to engage in violent demos. I have not seen that Raila before. I'm seeing him now. In my opinion, that would be a transformed Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga who goes to the table and bargains for his people, not with his people. I have not seen that before. I might have missed some instances before, but from what I know, I have not seen Raila Odinga going to the table and saying, you have to do this for the regions that support me. You have to do this. They deserve this and this. No. Now I am seeing that. He is not just doing this in boardrooms. Even when he goes back to Luo Nyanza, he is reminding them, this is what we need to do. This is what we are getting. This is what we are bargaining for. It is Raila Odinga, for the first time, at least according to me, is bargaining on behalf of his supporters. Bargaining for them to get something better. And ladies and gentlemen, like I told you, I have known Raila Odinga not to allow democracy to thrive. Any person who has divergent view has suffered under Raila Odinga. Now I'm seeing Raila Odinga who is allowing democracy, who is allowing the likes of Sifuna to speak out of turn. The Babu Owino of this world are out there. They are still in ODM. Nobody has even sat down and kicked them out of the party. Raila Odinga, before that, would have sat down. These people would have been kicked out of the party, expelled. They would be struggling in court to remain in the party. That has not happened so far. So, ladies and gentlemen, that, in my opinion, answers the question, has Raila Odinga changed or transformed for the better? And if nothing changes, if this is the trajectory Raila Odinga is taking, then it won't be difficult to support him. Because these three things matter a lot. Having a leader who puts your interest ahead of his, a leader who bargains for you, and a leader who allows democracy. That is how you lead people, ladies and gentlemen, in my opinion. And that's what I wanted to share with you. A friend had asked, are we seeing a changed Raila Odinga? Are we seeing a Raila Odinga 2.0? And I felt like I needed to share this, that as far as I'm concerned, I am seeing a changed person. Whether he's going to revert back to who he was before, we wait to see. But since the time of June 2024, Raila Odinga has surprisingly transformed, in my opinion. If you found value in this video, ladies and gentlemen, let me know in the comment section. And also, if you are yet to subscribe, please consider subscribing so that you are notified whenever we produce videos of this nature. Now, in case you are wondering why the likes of Rigathi Gachagua would want you to believe that Raila Odinga is no longer influential, watch this video.